What if some of the most beloved stars in history were hiding secrets you were never meant to know? A Hollywood legend with a disturbing past, a global pop icon spiraling out of control, and a sitcom favorite who nearly lost everything. These stories aren't rumors, they're real, and they reveal a side of fame that's far darker than it looks. Once you hear them, you'll never see these stars the same way again. Charlie Chaplin is remembered as one of the greatest icons in film history, a silent-era genius whose work brought laughter to millions around the world. But behind that beloved image lies a far more controversial and troubling personal life that many people don't fully know. During the height of his fame in the early 20th century, Chaplin became involved in several relationships that sparked public outrage, particularly because of the ages of the women he was involved with. Chaplin married multiple times, and several of his wives were teenagers when their relationships began. One of the most controversial cases involved his marriage to Mildred Harris, who was just 16 at the time. Later, he married Lita Grey, who was only 16 when they became involved and 18 when they married, under circumstances that drew intense media scrutiny. These relationships raised serious ethical concerns, even by the standards of that era, and contributed to growing criticism of his personal conduct. As his fame continued to rise, so did the attention on his private life. Lawsuits, public scandals, and accusations followed, damaging his reputation in the United States. Over time, Chaplin became a polarizing figure, admired for his artistic brilliance, but criticized for his personal choices. Combined with political controversies during the Red Scare, he eventually left the U.S. and settled in Europe. Today, Charlie Chaplin's legacy remains complex. He is still celebrated for revolutionizing cinema, yet his personal life continues to spark debate. His story serves as a reminder that even the most admired figures can have deeply controversial pasts that challenge how history remembers them. Winona Ryder was once one of Hollywood's most beloved young actresses, known for her roles in films like Edward Scissorhands and Girl Interrupted. By the late 1990s, she had built a reputation as both a talented performer and a cultural icon. But in 2001, her career took an unexpected turn when she was arrested for shoplifting at a Beverly Hills department store. The incident shocked fans and quickly became one of the most talked-about celebrity scandals of the time. According to reports, Ryder was accused of stealing thousands of dollars worth of designer clothing and accessories. The case drew intense media attention, not only because of her fame, but also because of the unusual nature of the situation. During the trial, questions were raised about her mental health and whether prescription medications may have influenced her behavior. The image of a successful actress involved in such an act left many people confused and curious about what was really happening behind the scenes. In 2002, Winona Ryder was convicted of grand theft and vandalism. She was sentenced to probation, community service, and fines, avoiding jail time. While the legal consequences were significant, the impact on her career was even more profound. For several years, she stepped away from major roles, and her presence in Hollywood noticeably declined. Over time, however, Ryder began to rebuild her career. With roles in projects like Stranger Things, she reintroduced herself to a new generation of audiences. Today, Winona Ryder's story is often seen as a reflection of the pressures of fame and the possibility of recovery, showing that even public mistakes do not have to define a person forever. David Letterman built his reputation as one of the most influential late-night hosts in American television, known for his sharp wit, sarcasm, and ability to connect with audiences for decades. But in 2009, his carefully maintained public image was shaken by a scandal that unfolded in a very unexpected way. During a live taping of his show, Letterman shocked viewers by openly admitting that he had engaged in inappropriate relationships with female staff members who worked for him. The revelation came as part of a larger situation involving an extortion attempt. A producer had threatened to expose Letterman's relationships unless he paid a substantial amount of money. Instead of staying silent, Letterman chose to go public, addressing the issue directly on air. His confession was both surprising and unprecedented, instantly becoming national news and sparking widespread discussion about power dynamics in the workplace. While the relationships were described as consensual, the fact that they involved employees raised serious ethical concerns. Critics questioned whether such relationships could truly be free of pressure, given the imbalance of authority between a powerful host and his staff. The situation also led to scrutiny of workplace culture in the entertainment industry, long before similar conversations would gain broader attention in later years. Despite the controversy, Letterman remained on the air and continued hosting The Late Show until his retirement in 2015. Over time, the scandal faded from the spotlight, and his legacy as a television pioneer largely remained intact. Today, David Letterman is often remembered for his groundbreaking contributions to late-night television, though this episode still stands as a reminder that even respected figures can face moments that challenge their public image and force difficult conversations about accountability. Tim Allen is widely recognized today as a beloved comedic actor, but his journey to fame began with a moment that nearly destroyed his future. In 1978, long before he became a household name, Allen was arrested at a Michigan airport carrying a large quantity of cocaine. At the time, he was struggling financially and had become involved in drug trafficking as a way to make money. The charges were extremely serious, and he faced the possibility of life in prison, a reality that could have ended his life as he knew it. Faced with that outcome, Tim Allen made a life-altering decision. He chose to cooperate with authorities, providing information about other individuals involved in the drug trade. In exchange, his sentence was significantly reduced. Instead of spending decades behind bars, he ultimately served just over 2 years in prison. That experience became a defining turning point, forcing him to confront his past and reevaluate the direction of his life. After his release, Allen turned to stand-up comedy, using humor as a way to rebuild himself and move forward. His raw, relatable storytelling quickly gained attention, resonating with audiences who connected with his honesty and wit. Over time, he built a successful career, eventually starring in hit television shows like Home Improvement and becoming a major figure in American entertainment. Today, Tim Allen's past is not hidden, but it has become part of a larger narrative about growth and redemption. His story reflects how a single decision can change everything, but also how determination, accountability, and resilience can lead to a completely new path. For many, he stands as proof that even the darkest chapters can be transformed into something meaningful, shaping not just a career, but an entirely different life. Christian Slater rose to fame in the late 1980s and early 1990s as one of Hollywood's most recognizable young actors, known for his roles in films like Heathers and True Romance. With his rebellious charm and distinctive voice, he quickly became a symbol of edgy alternative cinema. But behind that success, his personal life began to unravel, leading him down a path that would seriously threaten both his career and reputation. In the 1990s, Christian Slater faced multiple legal issues tied to substance abuse and erratic behavior. One of the most serious incidents occurred in 1997, when he was arrested after assaulting his girlfriend and a police officer while under the influence of drugs and alcohol. The situation escalated quickly, resulting in charges that led to a prison sentence. He ultimately served time behind bars, marking a significant low point in his life and forcing him to confront the consequences of his actions. At the time, public perceptions shifted dramatically. What once seemed like rebellious energy began to look dangerous and unstable. His career slowed, and opportunities became limited as studios hesitated to work with him. The combination of addiction, legal trouble, and negative press created a cycle that was difficult to break. However, in the years that followed, Christian Slater began to rebuild. He committed to sobriety and gradually returned to acting, taking on smaller roles before finding renewed success. His performance in Mr. Robot reintroduced him to a new generation and earned critical acclaim. Today, his story stands as one of recovery and resilience, showing how even after hitting rock bottom, it's possible to rebuild a career and regain respect. Fergie, known worldwide as a member of the Black Eyed Peas and a successful solo artist, built a career defined by energy, confidence, and chart-topping hits. But long before the fame and global recognition, she faced a deeply personal battle that nearly derailed her life. In the early stages of her career, Fergie struggled with a severe addiction to methamphetamine, a period she has openly described as one of the darkest times she has ever experienced. At the height of her addiction, Fergie has spoken about experiencing intense paranoia and hallucinations, even believing that law enforcement agencies were tracking her. These episodes reflected just how deeply the substance had affected her mental and emotional state. While she continued to pursue her career, the reality behind the scenes was far from the glamorous image the public saw. It was a time marked by fear, instability, and a constant struggle to regain control. Recognizing the danger she was in, Fergie made the difficult decision to seek help and commit to sobriety. The process was not easy, but it became a turning point in her life. Over time, she was able to rebuild both her health and her career, eventually joining the Black Eyed Peas and achieving massive international success. Her transformation from addiction to global stardom became one of the most powerful comeback stories in the music industry. Today, Fergie often speaks openly about her past, using her experiences to inspire others who may be facing similar struggles. Her story highlights not only the pressures of fame, but also the strength it takes to confront personal demons. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, change is possible, and a new path can still be created. Justin Bieber became a global superstar almost overnight, rising from a teenage YouTube discovery to one of the most recognizable faces in pop music. But with that level of fame at such a young age came intense pressure, and for a period, his life seemed to spiral into a series of highly publicized controversies. One of the most talked-about incidents happened in 2014, when Bieber was accused of throwing eggs at a neighbor's home in Calabasas, causing significant property damage. The situation escalated quickly, leading to a police investigation and formal charges. Around that same time, authorities raided his home, uncovering behavior within his inner circle that raised further concerns. Headlines began to focus less on his music and more on his actions, painting a picture of a young star struggling under the weight of constant attention. There were also legal issues involving reckless driving and other disruptive behavior, reinforcing the narrative that his career might be heading in the wrong direction. However, as the years passed, Justin Bieber began to take steps toward change. He openly addressed his past mistakes, speaking candidly about the pressures of fame, mental health challenges, and the need for personal growth. Through both his music and public appearances, he worked to rebuild his image, showing a more reflective and mature side. Albums like Purpose marked a turning point, reconnecting him with fans and critics alike. Today, while his past controversies are still remembered, they no longer define him. Instead, Bieber's story has become one of growth and redemption, showing how even the most scrutinized public figures can evolve over time. These stories prove that fame doesn't always tell the full truth. Behind the success, the awards, and the spotlight, there are choices, mistakes, and moments that shaped these lives in ways most people never see. Some found redemption, others carried controversy for years, but every story leaves a lasting question about accountability and second chances. If any of these stories surprised you, let us know in the comments what shocked you the most. Don't forget to like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more real stories behind the fame you thought you knew.